Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what will undoubtedly be a fantastic game of Starcraft II. We are here on GSL's Antigua shipyard and my name is Jethro. Now, we see in the southwestern corner, he is a fantastic Protoss player who has been doing very well in the GSL lately. He is Startale Parting. Now, in the northeastern corner, spawning as the Blue Zerg, he is a champion of MLGs. He has done very, very well in the GSL, taking second place even. This is FXOLeenock. Now, you may have noticed as I hovered over this Protoss player, it says Startale's Legend, but I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, it is in fact Parting. He was playing on a different account, that is all. Now, GSL's Daybreak is a map that many of us are familiar with. We, of course, have a short ramp up to the main base, which is blockable by one force field, and a natural that is easily forge fast expandable, which is what we see Startale's Parting doing here. Now, some very other important things that I want to touch upon is the Xel'Naga watchtowers. Now, you'll notice that there are two on this map, and they are positioned in such a way that if you control them, you control the vision of the entire map. That is, you can see every single attack path except for that of air units, of course. So, we will see as this game develops that the Xel'Naga watchtowers become very important. Now, you'll also note that the third base is down a little ways from the natural, and in fact is quite a ways from the main base. That makes it very vulnerable to things like, two-pronged attacks. You could have mutas in the back of your main while an attack goes on at the third base. That is going to be very difficult to defend. It's a situation in which you're going to have to split your units exactly perfectly, and that's a very difficult thing to do. However, will that happen today? I'm not quite sure. Now, we see a very standard opening so far. FXOLeenock has thrown down the pool. No gas quite yet. I imagine he's going to get that expansion up before doing so. We will see in just a moment. Yes, the expansion does go down. Fantastic. Gearing up for a standard economy-based game here. As we see the Forge going down as well on 17. He actually went Nexus before Forge. So that's just going to give him even more of an economic boost. And you might be asking yourself, oh, well, why can he get away with that? Well, on a map like GSL's Daybreak, there is so much distance in between the two players, especially in the early game, before these middle rocks are broken down, that you can really just afford to be very greedy economic-wise. Now, FXOLeenock knows that, and he's not going to try and apply any early pressure, of course. He's just going to go for economy himself. The question will be, of course, does he go for gas and get that speed going? Or will he go for a third base immediately? Sending this drone down, I expect we're going to see a very fast third here, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be shaping up into quite the macro game. Let's wait and see. I can't imagine anything else going down but a base. Yes, there we go. A third base for FXOLeenock. Fantastic. Sending a couple lings up towards the natural of Parting as well, just to get a scout, but you see this cannon has plenty of time to finish and will deny that scouting. Nice little hold position with the probe there as well, preventing them from getting behind the Nexus. Now, the question is, what will Startale's Parting do to respond to this early third base? I don't think he knows it's there. I'm going to check his vision quickly. Oh, he did scout the third base. Fantastic. So, will he decide to focus on economy himself and get a super early third, or will he apply some pressure? That is the question. Now that scouting probe has died, so he hasn't gotten down any sort of proxy pylons yet. I expect that he might try and sneak a probe down here. We will wait and see. In the meantime, we do see that he has started +1 attack, so that could be indicative of a push. Additionally, we see that no extra gases have been thrown down. He's just chrono boosting out that upgrade and focusing on economy at the moment. Yes, there goes that double probe production. Fantastic. Alright, back in FXOLeenock's base. We see he has everything completely standard. Queen's doing their inject, sending that queen down to the third base and starting a new one here. Really nice economy management. Getting that creep spread growing as well. Now, when you take an early third like he has, connecting these bases via creep is very important, especially when you're going to be thinking about things like, he might push with Void Rays, try and deny this third. You're going to want to be able to get queens down here a lot faster than that one just did. So this creep spread, very crucial. Yes, we see he is in fact spreading towards this third. Now we have a Stalker being active on the map. Hasn't gotten any kills quite yet, but he's trying to keep Zerglings off of this Xel'Naga watchtower. We mentioned earlier how important those watchtowers in fact are. Now, 4 gateways going down for Startale's Parting. I would expect that along with this, and yes, look at this, probe going out, probably going to plant down some proxy pylons. Startale's Parting will be increasing the aggression in a matter of minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be exciting. The question is, That Overlord, I expect, did not see that probe, but will these pylons get scouted? At the same time, we see +1 attack is wrapping up, and he has not thrown down a Twilight Cancel at all, so he will not be getting +2 for this push. It will be a +1 push. More gateways going down. Ooh, Startale's Parting really committing to this aggression. This is aggression that's meant to take down the third base, but oh no! Looks like some Zerglings have found the proxy pylons. This could spell trouble for this aggression for Startale's Parting. Oh, some key zealots warped in, and the Zerglings retreat. They will not take down that pylon. This aggression is still alive for Parting. We see the supplies are very even, but if we check the army supplies, Parting a little ahead at the moment, but I expect his supply shall explode as these gateways are in fact transformed. Some zealots continuing to deny access to that proxy pylon while these Zerglings trying to loop around, and oh, are the sentries going to go down? Some beautiful force fields protecting those sentries. The Stalker, I expect, will fall. Oh, some decent force fields again, trapping all those Lings. These Lings are not going to be getting out of here, and Startale's Parting managing to lose only one Stalker to that Ling runaround. Beautifully done, as we check that army supply again. Ooh, FXOLeenock jumping up to 40 supply, getting these roaches out, getting spine crawlers down. He is very well prepared for this aggression, ladies and gentlemen, but oh my goodness, look at these sentries. So many sentries mean so many force fields, and that is very difficult for a Zerg to deal with, as we can see here. A couple roaches getting trapped. Startale's Parting trying to get even more pylons down. He does not want this aggression to be denied. However, back in his main base, a robot has gone down. He's beginning his transition out of this. Very smart. He knows that there are a large amount of roaches up, and he might not be able to end the game here, and I expect he is correct. But look at this. We have a run-by going into the natural base of Startale's Parting. Nothing to block it. No zealot, no sentry, no probe in position. The Lings do get in. How much damage will they do to the mineral line? Only a couple probes running so far. He's heading towards the cannon. Very well done, but FXOLeenock is going to run straight into the main base, only taking 1 or 2 more shots from that cannon. We do see some zealots have been warped in the main, however, so I expect this run-by will not do quite as much damage as FXOLeenock would have liked it to. In the meantime, all these proxy pylons being cleaned up by the roaches. He missed one, though. That could come to haunt him later in the game. Now, the question is, at this point, where do these players go? FXOLeenock has denied all of this aggression from Parting, but let's check the worker count. We're at 42 probes and 50 drones. So see, all that aggression has caused FXOLeenock to not be able to drone as high as he would have liked. At the 10-minute mark on 3 bases, a Zerg would love to be sitting on 70+ drones, but having to make so many roaches and so many Lings, he has not been able to do so quite yet. So, will he make even more roaches and go for some aggression, or will he continue to drone up, which is what, it looks like he is doing. He's probably just going to get to that 70 drone count, 75 drones, maybe take a 4th base, and then gear up for the super late game, which is something that Leenock is very talented at. And we see he did spot this pylon, going to take it down. It will not be any problems for him later. He's checking for the 3rd. He knows the 3rd has been established. Of course, Parting in a very nice position, not going to let that 3rd fall through such a small roach pack. Now, getting the Observer up, the question now is, what will the endgame tech paths be? Will Startale's Parting choose to go for the Colossus path, or will he go for High Templar? Now, at this point, he's seen a good deal of roaches, and he has this robo up already, so Colossus would not be a bad choice. But we do see Leenock feigning some aggression at the front here. I don't expect he'll push up this ramp. If he does, he will get decimated by force fields. Small engagement here. Oh, some decent force fields go down, trapping a good chunk of roaches. That's why you have to be so careful when engaging a Protoss at a ramp, especially with this high of a sentry count. Those trapped roaches do fall, and the rocks will likely fall. No, the rocks will live to see another day, as these roaches are going to swing up by the 3rd. But Startale's Parting a little bit too good for that. He's not going to leave his 3rd undefended, even warping in more units. Saturating the 3rd base as well. Let's take a look at that worker count. 51 probes to 72 drones. FXOLeenock almost at a point where he's done with drones. A few more, and I expect he will be ramping up his army supply considerably. However, Startale's Parting continuing to split his army very nicely, denying all points of entrance. But we see the tech switch coming out of Leenock. He has thrown down a spire. I'm not quite sure where it is. We do see some upgrades going. There's the spire. And a Baneling nest as well. So we could see some mutas and Ling Bling, which can be very difficult to deal with, especially on a map like this, where you can have mutas in your main, Lings and Banelings in your 3rd, very spread out. However, FXOLeenock continuing the pressure in the meantime. Parting continuing to dance that army back and forth. Just so, some decent force fields, get a couple link kills, perhaps not worth quite that much energy though. And look at this observer position as well. It's going to allow him to very easily force field just like that. Fantastic force fields out of Startale's Parting. You can see how this high sentry count can really become extremely beneficial even as you enter the late game. You can control these engagements, control the positioning of your army and your opponents just as you like. Of course, if you do have high sentries and you missed your force fields, that's a problem. But Startale Parting, he's like, I don't miss force fields, not a problem for me at all. And you see Mutas are on the way, 5 right now, as well as the Zerg Flyer +1 attack. And Startale's Parting has not chosen a late game tech quite yet. See not much of an engagement going on there, but oh, there it is. Finally, the Templar Archives have been thrown down, and a fantastic choice out of Startale's Parting that's going to allow him to deal with these mutas quite well, as well as banelings. If you can land excellent storms on banelings with force fields, you can really decimate a large baneling force very quickly. So we're going to have to see if that comes into play today, as baneling speed has also been started, so it will be Ling Bling with muta support. This Immortal might be vulnerable. No, FXOLeenock gets up into the natural. A huge amount of links, some decent force fields go down, blocking all those links from getting us around. Fantastically done yet again. These force fields have been impeccable out of Startale's Parting. The Templar Archives has finished as well. I expect he will be starting Storm as soon as possible. This Forge will go down, undoubtedly. There's no way to stop these links from getting into the main base. All those Stalkers are very vulnerable. A nice blink away from those. However, that means that main base is completely undefended for the time being. How many probes will die to all these units? Oh, the tech. This is a very important situation. Oh, the Templar Archives goes down. Storm has been cancelled. He will not have Storm for quite some time now as he's trying to deal with these mutas. He does have a nice number of Templar though, but they will have to be morphed into Archons. In the meantime, we don't see any hold position micro. A good deal of probes have fallen. The cannon falls. However, Startale's Parting is able to clean this up in the end. He is not out of the game yet, though damage has been done. We see some mutas taking down probes at the 3rd as well. Let's look at this probe count. We have 10 workers killed so far. Not too bad considering how messy this has been. Blink Stalkers finally denying these mutas. A decent number of mutas have gone down as well. FXOLeenock has not gotten all these probe kills for free, that is for sure. And let's check on the economic situation. We see this 4th base has been established, but he's using it for gas only at the moment. And you know, as you get into the super late game, that's something that you really need to do, is just get more bases up simply for the geysers. You need that very precious Vespene gas a lot more than you need the minerals in the late game, especially when you're doing something like mutas with baneling support. Now, banelings got cancelled, somewhat surprising. Throwing down an additional forge as well. He does not want to fall behind in the upgrades in the late game. He's 2-1 right now. Let's check FXOLeenock. He is 0-0 on the ground. Surprising. And on the air, he is 1-0. So Startale's Parting with a bit of an upgrade advantage at the moment as far as melee goes. I'll have to find a roach, perhaps, to check the range upgrade, although there are no roaches on the field, so I suppose that doesn't particularly matter. +3 attack starting for Startale's Parting, as well as the Pathogen Glands for FXOLeenock. So he is going to be going for an Infestor late game, and that could be something that is very scary. And here's what I talked about earlier, ladies and gentlemen. We see the mutas going into the main base while counterattack is going towards the natural. Tons of Stalkers being warped in, as well as cannons to deal with these mutas. And is he able to deal with the Ling Bling? Yes, some good storms go down. The storm's able to deny the banelings for the time being. Parting do a fantastic job of splitting up these units to deal with the armies appropriately. Some more banelings coming in, and he blinks back. The Archon's taking some damage, and some decent force fields allow only a couple Stalkers to go down to those banelings. Blinks forward and takes down some of the mutas. FXOLeenock falling in supply as we see Startale's Parting taking a supply lead for just a moment there. Never mind, FXOLeenock reinforcing with 27 roaches and 6 lings. Huge economies allowing FXOLeenock to reinforce as quickly as is physically possible. And he's taking a 5th base at the moment as well. Now, Startale's Parting was able to hold that very impressively despite the dual attack. As I said earlier, a very difficult thing to deal with. However, now he's in a bit of a situation where he needs to decide, do I go for a 200 food army push, or do I try and push out just a little bit and take my 4th base? Now, the 4th base may be difficult to do, but will allow him to set up for a more comfortable late game, whereas if he goes for a single big push now, he needs to end it with that push. So it could be taken as a little bit riskier. Warp Prism coming out for Startale's Parting as well. Perhaps we're going to see some harassment in the future. Decent force fields go down. Blocking a couple roaches, not a big deal right there. FXOLeenock can afford to lose roaches. But more importantly, we see that the Greater Spire is coming down for FXOLeenock. He is going to be transitioning into Broodlord and Infestor, and oh my, I'm not sure if Startale's Parting will be able to deal with that one. He does not have any Stargate on the way, which means no Mothership, and that's what you really need to be able to deal with such a Broodlord and Infestor-based army. Pushing towards this third base right now. The Mutas getting hit by the cannons, need to run, but the Roaches, so much DPS, are able to take... Oh, he didn't take down the third. He didn't take it down. He left the third base with 108 HP, a bit of a mistake out of FXOLeenock. He even walked back towards it, and still some hesitation there, causing him a big mistake. I cannot believe that third base lived with 108 HP with that many units there. Startale's Parting must be very, very pleased about that, and in fact drops the fourth base down at the same time. Some Corruptors moving forward. He doesn't want to let those get picked off. He wants to keep them in a safe spot while he tries to get those Broodlords up. You see Leenock trying to get in there and finish off that third base, but not possible. Parting in a perfect position, and the shield coming back for this base, making it feel just a little bit safer. And the Broodlords are on the way, ladies and gentlemen. Are there any Infestors? Let's check the unit count. No Infestors quite yet, but 10 Broodlords being morphed, and Broodlords with a ton of Banelings, some Mutas, and some Lings and Roaches. A huge mix underneath. Going to be very, very difficult for Parting to deal with, especially since he does not have that Mothership, as I mentioned a few moments ago. Now, you may be wondering, well, with no Mothership, how is Parting going to deal with this? Well, the only real option is to outmaneuver the Broodlords. The Broodlords are very, very slow and have to wait for their supporting army to come underneath them. As a result, say the Broodlords are moving up the northern side, Parting can swing down along the southern side and perhaps attack this base, abusing that lack of mobility. And we will see if that happens in just a few moments here as the Broodlord swarm is moving through the middle of the map, taking down these rocks, as so many Zergs do in fact like to do, opening up these additional attack paths. However, Startale's Parting, realizing that he needs this Mothership, is getting the Stargate right now, the Fleet Beacon undoubtedly immediately afterwards, and additionally, setting up this fifth base. Really, really gearing up for a strong late game. But will he be able to make it to the late game? That is the question. Some decent storms go down, but some transfuses beautifully done by Leenock. I love seeing Queens brought up with a force like this, transfusing these Broodlords, keeping those high, expensive units alive. But just as I said, counterattack going on in the natural base as well as down on the southern side. Infestors getting a decent fungal down, but dying as they spawn. A Blink avoids these as many Banelings as possible, but the Banelings going to be able to clean this up without too much damage done by Startale's Parting. At the same time, this southern force that was trying to swing down around was forced to go home by this Broodlord swarm. Now, we see the Fleet Beacon has begun. Cannons are at the fourth base. Startale's Parting, trying to play as safe as possible. Really needs to get down second Vespian Geyser and get some probes. There we go. There's the saturation I was waiting for. However, he cannot deal with these Broodlords right now, but the Broodlord's actually left conspicuously alone. A decent storm goes down. If you can get a Blink underneath there, he can do a ton of damage. And in fact, this is a mistake out of FXOLeenock. He should not be leaving Broodlords by themselves like this. However, Startale's Parting, going for a counterattack yet again. These Stalkers, not enough Stalkers to deal with the amount of units that are here. They get caught by a fungal. No more fungals. He is able to get away for the time being. Some Roaches and Mutas in pursuit. Oh, not a very good Blink there, to be quite honest. Blinks right into a wall and is forced to immediately re-engage. That's not quite how you want to do things. Broodlords continuing to attack the fourth base. Is Parting going to be able to deal with this? He has started the Mothership. Now you might think, okay, just 160 seconds, but you have to realize that once the Mothership spawns, you also need to wait for the energy. We see some engagements going on here as well. Fungals went down, however, there aren't not enough Roaches to clean up these Stalkers quite yet. Broodlords taking down the space. This fourth base will inevitably fall. I'm not sure if Startale's Parting can live long enough to deal with this. He has Void Rays on the way as well. He knows he needs to take down these Broodlords, but will that be enough? Does FXOLeenock know about this northern base? I'm not quite sure. Oh, beautiful play by Parting here, going for the crown attack while all these slow Broodlords and Infestors are up at the northern base. Only one Infestor and a couple Roaches here to deal with this. This base may fall as well, ladies and gentlemen. This might turn into something of a base trade situation. The Broodlord's coming in here to finally finish off this base. It has plenty of shields, but only 108 HP and will inevitably fall quite quickly. However, some Roaches were able to clean up this force along with a couple of Infestors, saving FXOLeenock's base for the time being, although this southern base has fallen to some Stalkers in the meantime. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that in time. We saw the base fall. Broodlords continuing their assault as some roaches try and cut off these stalkers, blinking away. The fungal was not landed. The stalkers will get away for the time being, and we'll join up with these reinforcement stalkers, and inevitably we'll be able to take out some beautiful feedbacks. I love seeing feedbacks on infestors. However, he does not have the units to stop this swarm quite yet. There's one Void Ray picking away at these Broodlords, but here come the Corruptors, here comes an Infestor. This Void Ray will not be Parting's saving grace. But he does have a sizable force moving in for the counterattack. If he can take down this base, FXOLeenock will have no income, as the third, natural, and main have no minerals left. This is the last mining base for FXOLeenock, while Parting still has this mining base that has not yet been discovered. So we see some feedbacks going down, stalkers blinking in. This base is going to fall. There's nothing here to deal with this. The Broodlords and Infestors cannot get home in time, and to be quite frank, probably could not engage that anyway. Startale's Parting looking to be able to do the impossible here and deal with this Broodlord army despite not having the active mothership. However, the mothership has spawned. I just saw it a moment ago, I thought. There it is. It's getting it out of his main base, getting it out of that vulnerable position and bringing it towards his army. It has 91 energy right now, needs 104 Vortex, so he needs to at least buy enough time to get his army and the Vortexable mothership together. FXOLeenock seeing that mothership, probably bringing a little bit of fear to his heart, as motherships are a very, very scary thing for Zergs to deal with, especially when you have no income. You see, the supplies are remarkably even right now. 94 supply for Startale's Parting to 81 for FXOLeenock. I'm not sure who's going to win this quite yet. These Broodlords are able to do so much damage to this base, the main base of Startale's Parting, falling so quickly. But at the same time, these stalkers blinking around, taking down all the drones. Now, this is a true base trade situation, so we see the players are setting up to be able to throw down things like assimilators. This probe is waiting to throw down a building if it needs to extend the base trade. At the same time, we see these drones also doing a similar thing. Even using the drones to take down a pylon shows how important and how focused Leenock is, using every possible unit to take down buildings as fast as possible in this very, very tense base trade situation. However, this base has still not been scouted. I want to check Leenock's vision. Yeah, he has no idea that this base is here, and there's tons of cannons going up and tons of mining going on and very important gas resources being mined. So Parting looking to be in a very, very winnable situation at the moment. I mean, he can afford to bring in more units, and he's even bringing in a Dark Templar Shrine, a very, very nice move. If he can remove all the ability for FXOLeenock to detect invisible units, then of course the Mothership and the Dark Templar will reign supreme on the map. You see, we have an extractor here on the western side of the map, keeping FXOLeenock in the game for the time being, but he still does not know about this northern base. This northern base has become Parting's saving grace. It is still mining, it is still keeping Parting's buildings hidden because there is a nexus there. Parting looks to be in a very, very strong position here. I'm not sure if Leenock can come back and win this game, despite the fact that he was looking so strong in the mid and early late game. This extractor will fall. How many buildings are left for Leenock? I think it might just be the one. Now, he does have a good infestor count with lots of energy, and he does still have Broodlords with Corruptors. If he can engage this very, very well, it is possible for Leenock to win. However, we do have the Mothership, and the Mothership is going to be key. It has 200 energy at this point. That's enough for 2 Vortexes, and I'm not sure if Leenock's going to be able to dodge Vortex twice. That's a very tall order. However, we should note that there are 2 Archons, so an Archon toilet is possible. That would completely decimate this Broodlord force, and we are going to have the final engagement of the game here, ladies and gentlemen. Some feedbacks do go down. Well done. Whoever wins this engagement will win the game. Here we go. The Corrupt is trying to take down the Mothership, but some Vortexes go down. All the Broodlords and the Infestors going in. A storm going down on nothing. But the Corruptors have fallen, and there are so many units for Leenock. The Archons making their way, along with everything else, into the Vortex. I don't think Leenock is going to be able to get out of this one alive. Even bringing these Templar away to storm as soon as this opens up. Oh, and the decimation is huge. He tries to transfuse, but it's too little too late. FXOLeenock is forced to GG out of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Startale's Parting with the fantastic base trade situation, able to come back after a rough mid-game and take that game. Really impressive stuff. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, my name is Jethro, and that was Startale's Parting versus FXOLeenock. Thank you for watching.